They watch you, not to admire, but to study. Every distraction you chase becomes a leash tied to your mind. Every impulse they feed you, pleasure, comfort, validation, is bait. The more you react, the easier you are to control. They don't want you still. They want you scrolling, chasing, proving, because a restless man is predictable, and a predictable man is powerless. The man who reacts is already owned. He burns his will in motion, mistaking chaos for strength. He wants to be seen, to be heard, to feel alive. But the world doesn't reward noise. It rewards control. They don't fear your drive. They fear your focus, because focus is silence, and silence is power. The focused man is unreadable, too quiet, too deliberate, too dangerous. You can't control a man who moves only when he chooses to. He doesn't explain. He doesn't announce. He doesn't waste movement. He watches. He calculates. He waits. And when he moves, once, it's enough. Clean, controlled, final. That's mastery. Not speed, not noise, not effort. True power lives in restraint. While they scatter themselves, chasing everything, you become the one thing they can't predict. Let them run. Let them react. Let them drown in motion. You stay still. Because stillness isn't weakness. It's the mark of a man who already knows how the game ends. The focused man moves once. The distracted man moves always. The world moves too fast. Everyone is chasing something. Attention, validation, noise. They confuse motion with progress and chaos with ambition. But every movement made without strategy bleeds power. The truth is simple. The man who moves less controls more. Stillness is not weakness. It's precision. It's the art of saving your energy until the moment it can do the most damage. Power doesn't belong to the man who speaks the loudest or acts the fastest. It belongs to the one who can wait, observe, and strike once. Every impulsive move reveals something: your fear, your desire, your lack of discipline. Every unnecessary reaction gives someone else control. The focused man understands this. He operates like a shadow, silent, patient, unreadable. He acts when it's time, not when he's told. Stillness is psychological warfare. It disarms people. It exposes their need for validation. They will talk, move, and rush to fill silence, while you learn everything you need to know about them. The quiet man isn't passive. He's calculating. Every pause is loaded. Every second of silence is pressure. When you stop reacting, you start controlling. The battlefield shifts. Their emotions rise. Yours remain cold. They burn themselves out trying to guess what you'll do next. That's when the focused man wins, not by effort, but by mastery. Power lives in restraint. Focus is the rarest form of dominance. It means you are unmoved, unprovoked, and unbothered. Let others chase noise. You move only when it's time, because one move made with absolute intention has more impact than a lifetime of distractions. Remember this: the man who can remain still while others panic is the one who dictates the outcome. Comment below: my stillness commands the storm. Every choice you make shapes your power, or drains it. Most men decide out of emotion. They rush, they fear, they overthink. They move because silence makes them uncomfortable. But the disciplined mind understands that hesitation and impulse are both forms of weakness. A Machiavellian mind decides like a blade, sharp, deliberate, without hesitation once the truth is known. Power is not found in having options, it's found in cutting most of them away. Every option you keep open divides your focus, weakens your certainty. The focused man studies the field, measures the cost, and when he decides, it's final. There's no turning back, no apology, no regret. Because indecision is worse than failure. It's slow decay. Most men spend their lives circling choices they're too afraid to make. They call it caution, but it's fear dressed as logic. The disciplined man moves when logic and timing align, not before, not after. Every move must have weight, and that weight must be carried with conviction. The world respects decisiveness because it signals clarity, and clarity is power. Once you make a decision, the universe rearranges itself around your intent. People sense it, even if they don't understand it. They feel the force of a man who doesn't question himself. That's authority, not in words, but in presence. You must train your mind to make decisions without emotion, without noise. Strip away doubt, ego, and validation. You don't need their approval. You need only accuracy, because when a disciplined man decides, the game shifts. His decision becomes law. His silence becomes command. So before you act, pause, calculate, then move once, with such precision that no one doubts you meant it. That's how power is built, one ruthless, focused decision at a time. Comment below, my decisions carve my destiny. Every decision is a weapon, sharpened or wasted by the man who wields it. Most people make choices out of fear, emotion, or noise. They decide because they can't bear the tension of waiting, but the disciplined man knows hesitation kills slower than chaos, and emotion is the enemy of precision. Power is not in choosing often, it's in choosing once, with absolute conviction. Every unnecessary choice drains focus. Every doubt dilutes strength. The weak collect options, the strong eliminate them. Because clarity is power, and the man who knows exactly what he wants already controls those who don't. The Machiavellian mind doesn't chase right or wrong. It calculates advantage. Every choice is a move on the board, and each move must serve the final strategy. Once he decides, he doesn't flinch. No debate, no validation, just execution. The decision itself becomes law. Indecision is a disease. It infects men with hesitation, apology, and second-guessing. The world doesn't wait for the uncertain. It crushes them. A man who cannot decide is a man who cannot lead. A man who cannot lead is a man who will always serve. The disciplined man moves differently. He studies, he measures, he decides, coldly, cleanly, completely. When he acts, there's no emotion left in it, only intent. He doesn't care if others understand, agree, or follow, because true power doesn't explain itself. It acts. Every decision you delay is an opportunity lost to someone hungrier, calmer, more focused. Stop seeking perfect conditions. They don't exist. Make your move and make it matter. The moment you decide with precision, the game shifts. People sense it. That's still heavy confidence. From this moment on, decide like a weapon. Silent, exact, final. Comment below, my decisions are my power. Power doesn't begin with money, strength, or fame. It begins with control. Not control over others, but over yourself. The man who cannot master his impulses will always be ruled by those who can. Control is the silent currency of dominance, invisible, but absolute. The disciplined mind understands that emotion is leverage, and whoever controls emotion controls the outcome. Anger, pride, excitement, these are weapons that can be used against you if you don't hold the reins. The Machiavellian man feels everything but reveals nothing. He channels chaos inward, converts emotion into calculation, and turns restraint into intimidation. Control is psychological warfare. The moment they can predict your reaction, you've already surrendered power. The moment you rise to their bait, you become part of their plan. True strength is to remain calm in the middle of provocation, to smile when others expect rage, to move when others expect retreat. Predictability kills power, composure builds it. The man who controls himself controls the pace of every interaction. He dictates tempo, when to speak, when to strike, when to disappear. The more unpredictable you become, the more control you possess. The world bends to those who remain calm when everyone else loses control. Discipline is your armor. Restraint is your sword. Focus is your throne. Never show the world your emotion. Show it your results. Because once you learn to master your inner world, the outer world becomes a reflection of your will. Control is not about suppression, it's transformation. turning impulses into strategy, chaos into order, energy into precision. That's where power lives, in silence, in stillness, in control. Comment below, my control is my command. Power dies where attachment begins. The moment you need something too much, approval, love, recognition, outcome, you've already surrendered control. Dependence breeds vulnerability, and the Machiavellian man refuses to be owned by desire. Detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. It's the ability to move through the world untouched by it. When you stop needing, you start choosing, you stop begging for respect and begin commanding it. Every man who learns detachment discovers an uncomfortable truth. Most people are prisoners of what they crave. Their emotions can be pulled like strings. The disciplined man cuts those strings. He desires, but he doesn't depend. He can walk away from anything, anyone, at any time, and that's what makes him dangerous. Nothing holds power over a man who is willing to lose everything except himself. Detachment sharpens judgment. It strips emotion from decision. It allows you to see people as they are, not as you wish them to be. The Machiavellian mind uses detachment to remain calm in betrayal, patient in conflict, and silent in victory. Because he knows, reacting gives others influence, while restraint builds mystery. The detached man is unreadable. You can't manipulate him, you can't guilt him, you can't control him. He observes like a king and acts like a ghost, appearing when necessary, disappearing when it benefits him. His silence is strategy, his absence is power. Master detachment, and the world stops owning you. You stop moving for approval and start moving for advantage. That's when people start to feel your presence, not through noise, but through aura. Never forget, you control more when you care less. Comment below, I own nothing, and nothing owns me. Reality matters less than what people believe is real. Perception is the battlefield where power is won or lost. You can have strength, wisdom, or skill, but if you cannot control how others see you, you're invisible. The Machiavellian man understands that image is not decoration, it's armor. Powerful men shape perception the way generals shape terrain. Every gesture, every silence, every word is calculated. He knows that people don't see truth, they see projection. If you appear certain, they'll believe you are right. If you appear calm, they'll believe you are in control. Appear weak, and they'll forget your strength instantly. Control how the world interprets you. Never show uncertainty. Never reveal your full hand. Appear less emotional than you are, more disciplined than you feel, more confident than you believe. Perception bends reality. It turns presence into authority and silence into fear. The disciplined man masters this illusion until it becomes indistinguishable from truth. Power doesn't always come from being the best. It comes from appearing unshakable. When people can't read your limits, they assume you have none. When they can't predict you, they obey instinctively. The world obeys appearances because most minds are too weak to look deeper. The man who crafts his image with precision doesn't need to shout. He simply is. His composure does the talking. His restraint does the convincing. He speaks little, but every word lands with weight. Never forget, people follow the story you allow them to believe. Make it one of control, clarity, and inevitability. That's how you turn perception into power. Quietly, strategically, completely. Comment below. My image obeys my intent. Emotion is the leash that keeps most men powerless. The moment you react, you give control away. They provoke, and you reveal yourself. They flatter, and you soften. They insult, and you defend. Every reaction is proof that they own a piece of your mind. The disciplined man doesn't suppress emotion. He commands it. He turns anger into focus, pain into clarity, and pride into silence. He doesn't explode. He observes. He studies his own pulse until it beats to his will. Emotion becomes fuel, not fire. A Machiavellian mind knows that whoever controls emotion controls direction. Anger makes you predictable. Love makes you exposed. Fear makes you obedient. That's why emotion must serve you, never lead you. The man who reacts is ruled. The man who controls emotion rules. When others panic, he remains composed. When they argue, he listens. When they shout, he speaks once. And it's enough. That composure breaks people. They can't manipulate what they can't move. They start fearing your silence more than your words. This is real power. To stand in chaos and remain unmoved. To look at temptation, humiliation, or betrayal and keep your pulse steady. That calm isn't emptiness, it's dominance. Emotion doesn't disappear, it's tamed, disciplined, transformed into pure control. Every empire inside you rises or falls by how well you manage your emotions. You either build from control or collapse from reaction. So feel everything but reveal nothing. Let your calm become your weapon, your restraint your throne, because the man who governs his emotions governs his fate. Comment below. My calm is my command. Power is not taken, it's exchanged. Every interaction is a transaction of dominance and submission, of influence and obedience. Most men never see it because they're too busy chasing approval to recognize control. But the Machiavellian mind studies it. Every glance, every pause, every tone. He knows who leads and who follows before a word is spoken. Power dynamics exist everywhere, between friends, lovers, leaders, and rivals. The question is never if power exists, it's who holds it and who is pretending to. The disciplined man never fights for it openly, he bends it quietly. Influence gained through force fades. Influence gained through perception endures. Power doesn't always roar, sometimes it whispers. The man who speaks least often holds the most control. He doesn't argue because arguing proves equality, and he is not equal. He observes, listens, and speaks with the precision of a knife. His presence changes the atmosphere. People feel his gravity before they understand it. The weak seek validation. The powerful seek leverage. They don't want to be liked. They want to be obeyed. The difference is psychological. One needs attention, the other commands it. That's the essence of control, to make others move around you without lifting a finger. Every power game is about patience. The disciplined man never shows all his strength. He hides 90%, revealing only what's necessary to keep others uncertain. Mystery sustains fear. Fear sustains obedience. When they can't measure you, they can't control you. Never seek dominance through noise. Seek it through silence, consistency, and presence. Let others chase titles while you collect influence. Power is not in the crown, it's in the mind that can walk away from it and still be followed. Remember, power isn't something you hold, it's something others give, willingly or unknowingly. Comment below, I don't chase power, I become it. Silence is the language of control. The weak speak to prove themselves. The powerful stay silent to study, to calculate, to dominate. Words reveal emotion, impatience, and intent. Silence hides them all. The Machiavellian man understands that silence is not emptiness, it's strategy. Every pause, every unspoken word creates tension that bends the room in his favor. When you speak less, everything you say carries weight. When you speak often, your words lose value. The disciplined man uses silence the way a swordsman uses distance, to keep advantage, to create pressure, to force mistakes. People grow uncomfortable in quiet. They rush to fill it, to over-explain, to expose. That's when the silent man learns everything he needs to know. Silence shifts power. It demands respect without asking. It makes others question what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you know. Mystery builds authority. The less they understand you, the more they believe in your strength. Never reveal your thoughts when your silence makes them wonder. Noise is a weapon of the insecure. They talk to convince, to justify, to escape the discomfort of stillness. But silence, cold, steady, deliberate, creates dominance. It turns observation into knowledge and presence into intimidation. The man who commands silence commands the pace of every encounter. In a world addicted to noise, silence becomes rebellion. It separates you from the herd, makes your voice rare and dangerous. Speak only when it serves purpose, and when you do, let every word fall like a blade, clean, measured, final. Remember, silence is not the absence of power, it's its purest form. Comment below, my silence speaks louder than their noise. The higher you rise, the quieter it becomes. Power demands distance, not because you hate the world, but because the world becomes a threat to your clarity. The disciplined man learns early that proximity weakens perception, familiarity kills respect. If they see you too often, they forget your weight. Isolation is not loneliness, it's refinement. It's the process of removing noise, weakness, and distraction from your environment until only precision remains. A Machiavellian man withdraws not to escape, but to sharpen. Solitude is where he recalibrates his mind, rebuilds his strategy, and strengthens his silence. The weak fear isolation because they depend on noise to feel alive. They confuse constant connection with relevance. But the strong know that solitude is where identity solidifies, where you learn to lead yourself before you lead anyone else. Alone, there are no masks, no illusions, no noise, only truth. In isolation, you see who you are without the applause. You learn what you can endure without validation. You face your ambition without distraction. And when you return to the world, you move with an aura of control that can't be faked, because it was forged in silence. Isolation also protects your mystery. The less people see you, the more they imagine. The more they imagine, the more power you gain. Presence loses its impact when it's constant. Scarcity creates value, even in people, so disappear when needed. Build behind closed doors, speak less, move less, appear less, until your presence feels like an event. That's the discipline of distance, to know when to retreat and to return stronger than ever. Solitude is not withdrawal, it's evolution. Power expands in silence and contracts in noise. Comment below. My silence builds empires. Power moves like a current, invisible, silent, but always flowing toward discipline. Most men chase it. The few who understand it become it. The weak reach outward, looking for control in others. The powerful turn inward, mastering control over themselves. That's the last law, the one everything else leads to. The Machiavellian man doesn't fight the flow of power. He studies it, adapts to it, and bends it without force. He knows that true power is not in domination, it's in direction. You don't need to crush the world to rule it. You only need to understand how it moves. Every decision, every pause, every silence, a shift in the current. And those who can read it, command it. Discipline is the conductor. Focus is the compass. Control is the throne. You don't need to prove you're powerful. You simply behave like you are. Consistency makes people believe, and belief makes them obey. That's the hidden truth of power. It's psychological before it's physical. Power isn't loud. It doesn't seek permission. It doesn't announce itself. It's presence, a quiet gravity that pulls everything into alignment. The disciplined man doesn't move with noise. He moves with inevitability. When he enters a room, energy shifts. When he speaks, people listen, not because of volume, but because of certainty. Every move must feel inevitable. Every silence must feel intentional. You are not chasing results. You are dictating outcomes. That's what makes you untouchable. Precision, patience, and presence. And when you understand this final law, you stop playing the game. You become the game. Now, the discipline is yours, to move once, to speak once, to decide once, and to let that single act echo through everything. Comment below, I don't follow power, I become power. And if this spoke to your mind, like truth spoken through steel, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this is Machiavelli's discipline, where thought becomes weapon and silence becomes command.